Hey everyone, my name's Caitlyn and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. Today I am excited to be doing the Jane Austen Book Tag. This was created by Morgan over at Morgan's Endless Bookshelf. And yeah, I'm really excited to get to this tag. I do love Jane Austen and I'm excited to get to participate at least a little bit in Jane Austen July. I had hoped to get to Persuasion this month for Jane Austen July. I don't know at this point whether that's going to happen or not, so I figured I would do this tag anyway so that I could at least participate in Jane Austen July, at least this much anyway. So let's jump right into the tag. So the first prompt is Sense and Sensibility, a book about family. So for that one I picked 2 Seconds Too Late by Dani Pettrey. So this is book 2 in the Jeopardy Falls series. And this series follows the MacLeod siblings in a town called Jeopardy Falls, New Mexico. And they grew up as the children of a con man and con woman in Las Vegas. And they actually, in their childhood, their parents actually used them in some of their cons and stuff, and eventually stuff happened. They got away from their parents and they have now created this own life for themselves, and they now own a private investigation / security firm. And so they all, well, three of the 4 of them all work together. And this book happens to be about the sister, Riley, and their business partner, Grayson, who, so it's friends to lovers, it's also brother's best friend. And so in this story, a friend of Riley's goes missing, and so she and Grayson have to go undercover at this couples retreat. So there's fake dating involved here, and I just loved it so much. It was suspenseful and swoon-worthy and just all the things I love in Dani's books. It also had a great faith story, and there is some PTSD and depression representation in this book, which I thought was fantastic. Loved it so much. Okay, then we have Pride and Prejudice, a book that deserves the hype. Well, I can't say as I've seen basically anybody talk about this book on BookTube, but it is blowing up on Bookstagram, and with good reason. And that book is Reverie by Drew Taylor. This book, oh my goodness gracious, this book was 6 stars for me. I just adored it so much. So much. So I just read this book this month in July, so I haven't talked about it on here at all yet. So this book is about Esme Jenkins, and Esme was left at the altar 9 months prior to the start of this book, and she went on her honeymoon to Bora Bora alone and ended up getting amnesia as a result of a jet ski accident, so she now cannot remember the last 3 years of her life. But she is writing a novel about a fictionalized version of herself. So the character has her name is Esme, and she is left at the altar. She goes to Bora Bora on her honeymoon alone, and she meets this guy named Noah, who saves her from a bad guy that is trying to kidnap her. And they have this whirlwind romance, and it's great. It's wonderful. But she doesn't know, is this fiction? Did any of this really happen? Because obviously she doesn't remember what happened in Bora Bora. So is this memories? Is this all entirely fiction? Is Noah real? Is he a fictional character that her brain conjured up? So basically in this book, we get to see snippets of the novel that she's writing, and then we get to see her real story and the journey that she goes on to discover whether that is what is fiction and what is reality. And maybe she'll discover that reality is actually better than fiction. It touched me. It touched me so much. I love this book so much, and I'm already craving a reread of it. So yeah, be watching for this book to be mentioned a lot more on my channel in the future. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. It's Christian fiction. It has excellent faith in it, and it is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have that, I would highly recommend adding this to your list. Okay, what is our next prompt? Our next prompt is Mansfield Park, an introverted main character. So for that one, I went with Bailey from A Groom of One's Own by Emma St. Clair. Bailey is the heroine, and she is very shy and very introverted. And I just loved her so much. Just loved her. And I loved Eli. He's so sweet. And it actually becomes a thing throughout the book, their catchphrase that they create, which is awkward together. And I just love that. So this book is so good. It's so fun. It's so good. It is a marriage of convenience story. Eli is Canadian. He plays for the Appies, a hockey team in North Carolina. And he happens to be having some visa issues that require, I don't know, maybe a marriage of convenience. And Bailey runs this dog shelter that is what ends up becoming Eli's kind of, his way to get away from the world is he goes to this dog shelter and he plays with and snuggles puppies, which, I mean, that would get rid of my stress. So yeah, so that's where he knows Bailey from. So he ends up asking her to marry him. So, and it's very sweet. It's very sweet. I love this book so much. Okay, and then we have Emma, which is best male character. There are so many. This is such a hard question to answer. But, and I could have, and I thought about doing one book from multiple answers because Noah from Reverie would also work for this question. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do one book per prompt. So I am going with Cocoa Young from Fatal Code by Natalie Walters. This is book 2 in the Snap Agency series, and I just love Cocoa so much. He is just so fun. He's the best. He really is. He's this giant, long-haired Hawaiian guy. Think Jason Momoa. But he is hilarious. He's smart. He's a computer genius. And he's fun. He's a surfer. And yeah, and he gives the best hugs. I mean, he's the best. He just is the best. And I don't know that I've ever talked about him on this channel before, so I have to share that. Okay, let's see. Our next prompt is Northanger Abbey, which is a bookish main character. So for that, I will be talking about The Designated Date, also by Drew Taylor. And this is another prompt that Reverie would work for, but I decided to go with a different Drew Taylor book. So this book is about Lucy, and Lucy is a romance author. So that plays a large role in the book. So yeah, love this one so much. Yeah, just loved it so much. Okay, what is our next prompt here? Persuasion, a second chance romance. So for that, I went with one of my all-time favorite second chance romances, Wes and Addie Had Their Chance by Bethany Turner. This book just released. This is the first time I get to talk about it on this channel since I have had my physical copy, and I just love this book so much. I love Wes and Addie. I love everything Bethany writes, and this book is just hilarious. It also has a lot of depth. It explores themes of grief and addiction, and it's so well done. So well done. I loved it so much. And I love the way Wes and Addie communicate with each other like adults. It is the best thing ever. So yeah, highly recommend this one and everything that Bethany has ever written. Okay, our next prompt is Lady Susan, a book with an unlikable main character. So I struggle with this one because a lot of the books that I read that have unlikable main characters, they have a redemption arc or they change in some way throughout the story. So they're no longer unlikable by the end. So I feel like, at least in my memory, it's been several years since I read Lady Susan, but in my memory, Lady Susan does not change. Lady Susan is as unlikable at the end of the book as she is at the beginning of the book. So I was trying to think of a book like that, and I had a hard time coming up with one. But finally I was like, well, let's just go with the kind of obvious one. Let's go with the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. Because how much more unlikable could you possibly get than literally a demon writing to another demon? I mean, I don't think any character could be more unlikable than that. And obviously, there is no redemption story for them. Spoiler alert, because they're demons. I loved this book so much. I listened to it several years ago, and I loved it. It was so good. I will say, be sure that you understand what you're getting into with this book. Understand that it is written in, I would say, kind of a satirical way, because obviously it's one demon writing to another demon about how to turn someone away from God, how to get them to turn away from God. That's the whole point of the book. So obviously you need to take everything that is being said as a lie, basically, because what these demons are saying are they're telling each other lies to tell to this person to convince them to turn away from God. So you need to have that mindset to read this book, or you're probably going to have a big difficulty with it. But if you can have that mindset, and then you can process everything that is said in that way, I think you'll get as much out of it as I did. And yeah, I definitely want to reread it at some point. Okay, so our last prompt is Sanditon and The Watsons, an unsatisfactory ending. So for that, I went with Allegiant by Veronica Roth. I know that there are plenty of people out there, I have friends who do not agree with me on this, but this book has probably my least favorite ending in the history of the entire world. I love books 1 and 2. I love Divergent. I loved Insurgent. This whole book didn't even feel like it was written by Veronica Roth, in my opinion. It felt like it had been written by somebody else. And it just didn't, like, the whole book really didn't work for me. It felt like basically she'd never really given any thought at all to what the explanation was for this dystopian world that she had created. So it felt like it didn't make sense to me. Like, it felt very weak. Like, the whole explanation for why the faction system existed, why this dystopian world existed, felt really dumb, quite honestly. And I was like, I don't understand this. And then the ending of this book, it made me so mad. I almost threw the book across the room because I was so annoyed with it. And I do not do that lightly. So, yeah. My advice, I mean, absolutely, there are people out there who love this book and who think that the ending is totally justified and totally makes sense. That's something that we disagree about. But I would definitely recommend, if you want to check out this series, you know, definitely give the third book, which is Allegiant, give the third book a try if you want to. But I would definitely recommend that anyone watch the movie instead, because the movie has a completely different ending than the book. And I much prefer the ending of the movie to the ending of the book. So that's all I'll say, trying to avoid spoilers, but Yeah, this was very unsatisfactory for me. So that completes this tag. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, let me know your answers to any of these questions. The questions will all be in the description box below. I'm not going to tag anybody because I'm not sure who has done this and who hasn't, but yeah, feel free to answer any of these questions down below. Or if you have a channel and you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. And yeah, I think that's everything. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.